Hello, today I'm going to be doing the Bookish Spider-Man tag. This tag was created by Chris from the Reading Roads and I was tagged by Alicia Gordon. I'll link both of them in the box below and both of them you should be going to have a look at as they are both really good booktubers. Now, the point of this tag is to use a series of fictional characters to replace characters in the Spider-Man sort of origin story and to come up with an interesting little story at the end, which I'll read out. So without further ado, let's begin. First of all, it is your Peter Parker character. This is your hero and it is a favourite male character. Now for this, I'm going to choose Martin Longbow from Raymond D. Feist's original book, Magician. The character of Martin is a very quiet man and he's not a violent man, but he's very capable of looking after himself. He's caring and he's slightly bit of mystery about him, and I just love his character. I thought he's one of the best characters in the book, in my opinion. So he's my Peter Parker. The second character would be your Harry Osborn. This is your second favourite male character and it is the friend to your Peter Parker. Now for this I'm going to be choosing Eddard Waterwalker from the Void trilogy from Peter F. Hamilton. Eddard is, well, he's one of the primary characters in the book and he's an extremely interesting character. He doesn't always do things in a nice way. Sometimes he makes some terrible mistakes, but he tries to do what he can to help. He's a nice character, he just doesn't always do things right how he'd like to do. The third character is your Gwen Stacy, which is your love interest for your Peter Parker character. Now for this I'm going to choose one that I've already mentioned, and that would be Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. As I said before, I just think she's an extremely strong character. She's obviously highly intelligent, she likes books, which is obviously a great plus, and she's not afraid to get physical and actually punch people in the face or do other things. So I just think she's a very strong female lead. Well, she is the female lead in the Harry Potter. Now for the fourth character, that would be your Mary Jane Watson. This is your second love interest for your Peter Parker, and for this I'm going to be choosing Grace Courtland from Jonathan Maberry's The Joe Ledger series. Grace Courtland is a very strong character. She's extremely dangerous when she wants to be, but she does have a sort of vulnerable side, and her character is just really quite interesting and indeed probably the best female character in the series. Number 5 is your Uncle Ben figure. Now this is your fatherly figure who looks after the Peter Parker. And for this I'm going to be choosing Butler from the Artemis Fowl series. Butler is the bodyguard of the primary character, being Artemis Fowl, but all throughout the books Butler and Artemis often feel as if it's not just a master and bodyguard type relationship. Butler is almost like a big brother and occasionally can be almost like a father figure to Artemis. And the moments together are truly brilliant, and they really do grow together. The next is your Aunt May figure. This is your motherly figure to your Peter Parker. Now for this I'm going to choose Jessica Leto from June of Frank Herbert fame. She is an extremely strong woman, relevant of being male or female, she's a strong character regardless of gender, and I love this character. Now, the seventh character is your Green Goblin character. This is your favourite villain or arch enemy to Spider-Man. For this I'm going to choose a obvious one because he's a really big, large and life character. Voldemort. Yeah. Bit predictable, but I can't have that. Voldemort is a really good big sort of character and he is an arch nemesis to Harry Potter, which is why I chose him. Everything that Harry is, he's the opposite, but there are certain similarities that neither of them like to admit. Next is your New York City. This is your favourite place or location. Now for this, I'm going to have to choose Tea Patchy, and I'm going to choose the city of Ankh-Morpork. This is essentially his odd version of London, with all sorts of sarcastic references throughout the books, and indeed the city is mentioned in at least a dozen books minimum. And the city is really detailed and also really funny, because some of the locations are based on London, of course, but they're twisted in a kind of ridiculous way, which is just a work of genius. And finally, it is your Stan Lee. This is your favourite author or creator. And for this, I'm going to choose, well, I just said it, Tea Patchy. I mean, you should know by now, I've already mentioned him in at least 2 videos, I believe, already. That I basically learnt to read on a Tea Patchy book when I was younger. So to me, there's Tea Patchy, then there's 1 inch below there's everybody else. So yeah, there can't be anybody else. Okay, now it's on to the story part of this. Obviously I'm going to have to use a notepad, so I will be looking down. Right, let's start. A brand new comic by Tea Patchy, featuring a hero named Martin Longbow. He is raised by his aunt Jessica Leto and by his uncle Butler. A combination, but well. His uncle eventually dies because he was killed by a random criminal. Very unlikely. This inspires Martin Longbow to avenge his uncle and to fight evil in the place they live, called Ankh-Morpork. He falls in love with Hermione Granger, who is unfortunately killed by our hero's arch enemy Voldemort. Martin Longbow kills Voldemort in the fight that ensues after this tragic event. Voldemort's son, Eddard, that's peculiar, who also happens to be Martin's best friend, takes his father's place as our hero's arch enemy, seeking revenge. Soon after all this occurs, Martin falls in love with Grace Cortland, who joins him in his fight against evil by becoming a hero herself. Well, she certainly got the skills for it. Okay, that was a odd tale, because I mean some of the characters would certainly not exactly get on, but it was interesting anyway. I hope you enjoyed this. Certainly an unusual tag for me to do. Now, I completely forgot about the fact it's a tag and you're meant to tag people, so I actually haven't thought about who to tag, if I'm going to tag anybody. So if I do tag anybody, it will be in the box below. So that's it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. And like I said, the 2 people responsible, which is Chris and Alicia, the creator and the tagger, you should go and check out their channel. Their content is really, really good. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day.